I'm Maverick Ryan.
And I'm Ice.
The Iceman.
All right. Ryan's got shades on because his future's so bright.
It is.
I actually think you were out cutting grass. I think you were smoking grass.
No.
I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't be so amped up if I were.
That's true. I was just thinking of that. You know that Mitch Hedberg joke? Where he's like, I think they make Visine for potheads. Who else would buy Visine? Come on. Oh, yeah. Hang on. I got to put some Visine in my eyes. I don't want people to know I've been swimming.
Or like, I used to do drugs. I still do.
But I used to too.
Oh, the late, great Mitch Hedberg. Hey, how old was he when he died, man?
Not very old. He was
Was
definitely...
he even in his 30s?
Maybe, but if he was, it was probably early 30s. We could look it up, but we'll let the listeners do that. I don't think he was any older than 35.
There's no way. Yeah, there's no way.
Man, one of the greats.
Yeah, if you haven't heard that, dude, you need to... Look him up on. I think he's on iTunes.
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's.
Or you can find all kinds of stuff on YouTube.
Oh my gosh,
because he's definitely more funny to watch. Like he's funny to listen to if you've already seen him, but if you've never heard his material before, his style of comedy, it's a visual art as well because he's so nervous and like shy on stage, has trouble making eye contact, and
yeah,
he's definitely in my top 5 probably.
Yeah. He's really, really, really cool. I remember the first time I saw him was on Conan O'Brien when Conan was after Leno.
Yeah, way back when.
And those guys, they only get like 3-5 minutes tops.
Yeah.
To go out and do their bit, and then it's either they do well or they don't.
Right.
And oh man, how old was I?
Well, I remember, dude, it was that year that we were playing a bunch because I remember you telling me about him.
So 20.
So it would have been like 2004 at the latest. Well, it was 2004. It was right before we started playing at Silver Dollar because I remember we were on a kick where that's all we listened to on the way up and the way back for like several times.
Dude. So, yeah. So I saw him, right? And then Conan's like, oh, that was great, man, that was so, because he's sitting at the desk. Conan's, how they do, and that was great, man, that was so good. And then I don't have one, but he's like, that's shit, that's horrible.
Yeah, he'll held up the CD.
Here he is right here. Go out and get it. It's Mitch Hedberg, and I forget the name of the album.
Mitch Altogether, and
it was it had green on the front.
It looks like a puzzle. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
And I was like looking at it and studying it, and I was like, okay. And I went straight to the computer, and I freaking looked him up, found the album on his website, and I was like, buy now. And I purchased it, and I waited like probably a week and a half or something to get it.
Yeah.
And when it showed up, I was just so excited because I was like, man, you got to listen to this.
Dude, it was funny, and that also had the DVD of his Comedy Central special, and it has both versions. It has the aired version and it has the unaired version.
That's right, because I bought the combo.
That's what I have too. Yeah,
upselling on the website.
Yep.
Man,
it was definitely worth it too, because the unaired version, they do this with every comic, every live record, but like the aired version was obviously trimmed for time, edited for time, but they also embellish crowd noise. But if you watch the unaired version, there's none of that. And
it's great.
He has some great lines where he's like, he has a specific style of humor, and like the crowd's not really buying into it. They don't really get on his side until like the last 10 minutes.
It's really hard to find his rhythm.
Yeah, and he goes, man, y'all need to get into my jokes harder.
Don't worry. They'll add.
He's like, man, we're gonna have to sweeten some of these jokes. And then he goes, you know what sweeten means, right? That's a Hollywood term for add sugar. It's a showbiz term for add sugar too. But then later on, he's talking about, he's like, it's supposed to be the Mitch Hedberg special. He's like, the Mitch Hedberg, not so special.
Not so special. And he's like, ain't going so well up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
He's great.
So funny. He's so good.
So yeah, go out, check out Mitch Hedberg posthumously, and I'm sure most people have heard some of his stuff, but if you haven't,
probably.
He's pretty good. He's got some really great stuff. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so what are we talking about today?
Well,
man, I want to see your eyes, bro.
Dude, I was just gonna say, I think this is a really nice new look.
I don't like it. I can't. I'm not looking at you, man. It's like I might as well just be looking in a mirror.
But it's cool because it looks like I'm looking, but I don't have to. I can just be like, like I normally am, and just do that. And put these. No one knows any different.
All right, I don't even care.
All right, I'll put on my other glasses. I'm keeping my hat turned around, though.
Well, that's fine. I don't care about your hat. I just want
to lost the bill.
What? No, the bill's just behind you. It hasn't caught up with you yet.
You're right. It's right there. Who knew? Dude, so I wheeled it to Home Depot this morning, pick up some spray paint. Oh, nothing looks more suspicious. I was thinking about this when I was leaving. Nothing looks more suspicious than a guy where I'm wearing black running pants.
Yeah.
So they're sleek and
sure,
they look nice. But then I'm wearing also a black Kevlar hoodie zip up because it's my riding hoodie. It's got padding in it and everything. And then I've got my aviators on.
Yeah, people probably think you're going in there to blow the place up.
Right. Because I got my wheel and I've got a trolley handle on it, and I push it around, and I try to be super.
I wondered what you do with it when you're like, you can't ride it.
No.
Like, and you can't like chain it up outside like a bike or anything.
No. And I'm not usually too worried about people. Like, there's lots of times where I'll come inside the door and I'll come right around the corner and lean it against the wall, and I'll go do my thing and come back. Yeah. Usually people won't even mess with it. They'll look at it and be like, what the heck is that thing? But it looks so odd that a lot of people think it's part of something in the store. Right. Like they're using it to move merchandise.
Or they're cleaning the floors with it or something. Yeah.
Right. They don't know what it is, right? Yeah. But most of the time, I'll just walk through the store with it, no problem. I've never gotten any flack. I've gotten tons and tons of questions about it, which is cool. But I try to be super respectful because here's the thing. It's brand new. And just like anything new, it scares the bejesus out of people, especially if you don't approach it correctly, right? Right. So I'm trying to be a cool one of these cool guys that, like, if you ask me about it, I'm going to smile and I'm going to tell you anything you want to know about it. Because I want it to be popular and I want people to be cool with it and not be like, we need to ban these from people riding them. Right. Because the last thing I want to do is I don't want to have this particular thing regulated like drones have been regulated. Now, drones, yes, I think it's a good thing because it's entering commercial airspace and with private pilots, and it could become a major catastrophe. But with this, the wheels vary, right? They vary in speed, they vary in size. So like my youngest son rides one and its maximum speed is like tops out at 18 mile an hour. That's as fast as you can get to go, and it starts leaning back and pushing you back to slow you down. Gotcha. Mine, I've had it at 44.7 miles an hour. So mine is fast, stupid quick, right? And I could do probably 28 miles, a 28-mile trip going that speed. Okay. Now, if I were to ride reasonably and not like an idiot or a psychopath going 40 miles an hour on one wheel, I could stretch that to probably like 50, 55 miles. Yeah. Which I've been wanting to ride from here to Johnstown and back, which is a round trip of, I think, like 30 miles or so, which is doable on that wheel as long as I don't like,
what are the, do you just like plug it in, or does it have a battery that comes out and you can charge it?
No, the batteries are all internal because they're not in enclosures. So that's kind of a risk factor because if you wreck it real hard, the battery could rupture and then you would have a serious fire on your hands.
Right.
Like not just a fire, a very hot, violent fire.
Yeah.
Lithium ion battery fires are fierce, man. They are rough. They will melt pavement.
Whew.
So yeah.
I was thinking, like you just said, 50, 55 miles. How far is Newark from Coshocton?
30 miles, give or take 30 miles. So I could make it to Coshocton, but the only route there is a freaking highway.
Right. You just riding along 16.
So then that kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like, I don't want to get them regulated because there's awesome bike paths right here. Like,
right. We
have tons of bike paths, miles and miles and miles of bike paths. And I love riding on them. And I never, if there are people, if I can see somebody on the bike path, I don't give a crap if they're a half mile away from me. I will not exceed 20 miles an hour. I will not do it. Now, when I'm passing somebody, I slow way down. I go slower than some of these people on bikes go. I mean, I watched some of these dickheads, for lack of a better word, fly by people on these, on these road bikes.
Yeah.
And I try to be way more considerate and give people, and my tire's kind of loud. Sure. But so people can kind of hear me. But, I just don't want to be to the point where it's regulated and people are like, you can't ride there. So that forces me onto the street, which I ride on the street too, but I wear a full face helmet when I'm doing that because it is dangerous. And, but then where are my kids riding? I'm not putting them on the street. Yeah. F that.
No, I feel you.
I'm in Home Depot with my ride. Got my hat turned around backwards. Yeah. Got my aviators on. I'm looking something like that, right? And I got my black jacket, my black pants, and my bright orange shoes. Yeah. These guys.
Nice.
Yeah. So I got those on, and I've got this black thing with a wheel, and I'm walking through, and I've got a black backpack on, and I pick up 2 things of spray paint, got them in my arm. And I grabbed something else, and I'm going to the checkout.
Well, I know you grabbed an almond Snickers and ate it before you left.
Oh my God, how many times have we done that? Or I've done that. Yeah. that was not on purpose, Home Depot.
Oh, no, that's not true. The first time wasn't on purpose. After that, it was on purpose.
Yeah, it was how many times I could do it. Yeah. So,
I counted like 6 or 7.
That place got enough of my money.
Yeah.
They can afford, it probably cost them a whopping 50 cents.
Oh, not even.
Well, I mean, all the times I did it cost them 50 cents total.
Sure. Anyway.
So I'm in there, I'm getting spray paint, and I've got my backpack on. Everybody's looking at me like, because they don't know what the heck I'm pushing around. This one guy, he comes over to me and goes, is that thing following you? Is that thing following you? I'm like,
like he was on a leash or something?
Yeah. I guess he couldn't see the trolley handle. And so I turn around, I'm like, huh? And he's like, oh, you got a handle, you're pushing it. And then that was that. I get to the end of the aisle, I pick up my spray paint, and he comes around and he goes, what is that thing? And I said, it's a PEV, which sounds cooler than saying an EUC. I don't know why I feel weird saying EUC, but then they're like, what is EUC? What is PEV? So when I say PEV, I can say, oh, it's a personal electric vehicle. That sounds cool, But if I say EUC and they're like, what's an EUC? I have to go, oh, it's an electric unicycle.
That's what I would say.
I don't know. I feel dorky.
That's what it is, though.
It is. It's an electric unicycle. It's an EUC.
It's awesome.
I don't know what it is about a unicycle. It just doesn't, but whatever. It's much, much cooler in person, let me tell you.
Dude, I had a roommate in college who could ride the crap out of a unicycle. And I was like, I don't understand how this is even possible.
Yeah.
He rode it all over Philly all the time. I don't think there's anything dorky about a unicycle. I mean, except for the way it looks.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Well, it's only dorky up until you start the juggling. Then it changes everything. So anyway, so I get to the thing and I check out, and then I go outside, push my wheel outside, and I lean up against the thing, and I went through the garden area. So that kind of just paints a picture where I'm at. Yeah. So I go through the garden area, and I'm out just outside where they have all the plants and stuff out there, and people are kind of walking by me, just kind of like, what is that thing?
Right.
And here I am. backpack off on the ground, unzip, loading up my spray paint. Gonna get on my ride and I'm gonna go vandalize some shit. Hey, I think that guy's going off to paint a building or a bridge. Anyway, so that whole story leads us into our episode, which is...
It doesn't actually, but...
Yeah, it does. Our favorite gear, tools, and gadgets.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I would consider that a gadget.
No,
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would. Sorry. I guess I was just thinking...
glasses.
I guess I was just thinking... This episode in particular, it's like music gear. But yeah, but the whole thing overall is our favorite gear and gadgets.
Yeah.
Trinkets.
Yeah. So tell us, go ahead and start. I kind of started it off sort of, kind of, but.
Yeah, that's obviously your favorite.
Dude, it's so much freaking fun.
Yeah.
I think more people should give it a whirl. Because here's the thing about it. Once you learn how to do it, it's a massive sense of accomplishment knowing how to do that.
Well, okay, so you want me to go? Should we go back and forth? We'll each I don't know how many I'm gonna say, but
so we're gonna start with gear, right?
Yeah, like music gear.
Music gear
for Lonnie and Ramiro that listen, and anyone else who's also a musician.
Yeah, just if you aren't, and just I'm sorry, you just have to suffer through this part.
Whatever. I think people will still find it interesting. We're interesting people. We're not really, but.
We like to think so.
My first one, I don't do this as often as I should.
I still do. But I used to do.
No, I honestly don't do this as often as I should. And now that I'm not really on social media, I have less opportunities. But I don't really care all that much about endorsements when it comes to most things. But I have one. And it's like probably the best thing ever, and it's like the only one that I would have ever wanted probably from the time I was like 14. And I am a Vic Firth drumstick artist. And sorry if anyone disagrees, but they make the absolute best drumsticks on the planet, and they have for a long time. And
why? What, in your opinion, why is that?
Well, first of all, they have the models that I prefer. Second of all, I have been playing Vic Firth drumsticks since 6th grade, really. My very first pair was a pair of Vic Firth SD1 Generals. So that's why I was 12 then, 11, 12. I was 12, I guess. And I'm 37 now, so do the math. But in all those years... Now, and I will say, like, I have checked out other brands of sticks throughout my years of playing, whether it be like sticks that somebody else has, or maybe, oh, this company makes a model, I'll see what it's like. But I never end up liking it more than what I already play. But in all those years of playing Vic Firth, do you know how many times I've gotten a new pair of sticks and like one of the sticks isn't perfectly straight? I mean, we're talking like thousands of pairs of sticks that I've bought in my lifetime.
How many?
3. Not 3 pairs. 3 sticks.
3 sticks.
Yes. And this is no lie. For a time in college, I dabbled with a Vader drumstick model. That's a different brand. I was like trying to test it out or whatever. And this is when I was in Philly. And I ordered like 6 pair from Columbus Percussion and had them shipped to me. Dude. 6 pair, that's 24 drumsticks. Do you know how many were straight? This is not an exaggeration.
2?
Sorry, that's not 24 drumsticks. That's 12.
12.
I could do math.
Watch me do it.
6 pair. That's 12 drumsticks. My Lord. You know how many 6 were straight?
2.
Not pairs. Straight. Just actual single 6.
Out of the 12.
7.
7 out of the 12 were straight.
That's barely 50%. I mean, yeah, that's a little over 50%. And I was like, at that point, that was the last time I ever played anything that wasn't Vic Firth, because I went, okay, I understand that wood is like an organic material, but it's 2000 whatever it was then, and I still say this now because I'll check out other brand sticks at like Forks at the drum shop here, and I'm just like, how can it be 2021 and you can't make a straight drumstick? Like, I don't understand. So that is my main reason, and I will say this: like the cherry on top is that the people that I deal with at the company, now that I'm like an official endorser, make it even better because they're all awesome. But I can tell you that if Joe Testa, who's the head of A&R, if he called me tomorrow and he was like, "Hey, Matt, I'm really sorry, but you're just not active enough, or you're not a big enough name. We're gonna have to drop you as an artist or whatever." First of all, I'd be like, "Yeah, I don't even understand how I have this deal in the first place," but I would be like, "That's totally fine." I would not be butthurt. Like, I believe in the product so much that I would just continue buying it as if how I did before. There are only two drum product companies that I am absolutely 100% loyal to and do not touch anything else. And that's Vic Firth and Remo Drumheads. I think in the actual drum world, the cymbal world, there's a lot of great companies that make a lot of great gear.
Yeah.
But when it comes to those two particular things, sticks and drumheads,
consistency matters.
Those two companies cannot be touched. And I'm sorry if you have a different opinion. Your opinion is wrong. I'm sorry. Like, that's how much I think that those products are superior to the other companies that make similar products. Like, I've played other drum heads, like on backline kits or whatever. Mm-hmm. Nothing can touch a Remo coated Ambassador. Nothing.
And it's not to say that other manufacturers couldn't make a better product, right? The trouble is that they can't do it every time.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe they can't. Honestly, I don't care. Like, I can't, I guess I can say this. I can't speak to other companies beyond what I've experienced with them. But I just know that, man, like, every drum kit in this room I've got what? I got a Gretsch kit over there.
Two Yamaha kits.
I have
Ludwig kit.
Two Yamaha kits. I have another Gretsch bass drum. I have a Ludwig kit. I have a Slingerland kit that's not mine. It's a buddy's, but he wanted me to rehead it. All the toms on all those kits, guess what they have on them? Remo coated Ambassadors.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like my litmus test for a drum. I know that a drum is well made if I can put a coated Ambassador over a clear Ambassador and get a good sound out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And all my bass drums have clear Power Stroke 3s. Like,
well, that's all Timmy played.
No, he was an Evans guy when I met him. When I started playing with you, he's a Remo guy now because of me, because I gave him so much crap.
Oh, okay. Because I know he had the last thing I saw it was the Remos.
Yeah. Now he plays Remo, but that DW kit when I first started hanging around had Evans on it, and that old Yamaha kit he had Aquarian on it.
Yep, it sure did.
But sorry, but anyway, not to get on that. Anyway, yeah, Vic Firth. I've seriously played this drumstick. I don't know if you can see it. It's the Vic Firth Extreme 5A wood tip. I started playing this in 8th grade. There are other different models that I use, but this one is probably the one in all that time, it's the one I've used most consistently. The other one I use is the Mark DiCiani. It's a custom stick, not a signature stick. So you can't, like, a normal person can't buy it, but I told Joe Testa, I was like, look, man, I'm looking for something that's like between an 8A and a 9A, but a little longer. And mm-hmm. I was like, is that something that exists anywhere? He was like, yeah, we actually make a Mark DiCiani custom model that is like pretty much exactly that. And so he sent me a bunch, and I was like, this is great. So now I will say I use the Extreme 5A for David and for Spiderwolf, but for everything else I do, like sessions at home most of the time, or downtown band, or playing on Broadway, or jazz gigs, I use the Mark DiCiani stick. And shout out to Mark DiCiani. The funny thing about that is, so Mark DiCiani was, I don't know if he still is, but he was the dean of the music program at University of the Arts in Philly. So I know him personally. I took some classes with him. So it was like so funny when Joe said that. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know Deech was a Vic Firth guy. But anyway, that's my first one. I guess first two. Sorry, because I threw Remo in there. But man, it's tough to beat Vic Firth. That my opinion, but your opinion's wrong. So
gotcha. Well, yeah. I mean, when you're using something like that all the time, and listen, mine, right? Guitar picks.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Ask me.
How many times you been bitten by an elephant?
Never.
How many times you been bitten by a mosquito?
Well, probably hundreds or thousands.
See, it's always the little things that get you. So, like, it's not anything necessarily big that we're talking about. Drumsticks and guitar picks, right?
Yeah.
Or even guitar strings. It's the little things that add up that become nagging and irritating.
Yeah.
And can cause, like, majorly be uncomfortable or have a bad performance, right? So guitar picks.
Yeah.
This little guy right here.
Yeah.
So this is the Dunlop 549R073 Flow Standard Grip Pick. And this is a 0.73, I think. A 0.73 millimeter. I buy these by hundreds. They're amazing. They're made out of, let's see here. I used to remember exactly what they were made out of, but they are made out of not nylon. They're not made out of nylon because I find that mylar.
That's what drumheads are made out of. It's a type of plastic.
No,
what?
No, it's Altex. Altex is what this is made out of.
Okay.
It was made famous by their It was made famous by this material was kind of, I think, made famous by Tortex picks.
Okay.
Early on, but the problem with it is Altex doesn't deform or melt like nylon does, and plastic picks just snap. They just break and chip like cheap cymbals.
Yeah.
Altex, it will start to lose its edge, but this pick here, let me see if I can get close enough. It's going to be fuzzy because I've got my focus set, but you can see it's still pretty sharp, and I've played this pick a lot.
Yeah.
So you can feel it's a little rough, like where the strings wear it down. But all in all, the pick stays in shape, and what Dunlop did with this pick that made it so much better than anything else made out of Altex is they embossed the name on it. It's hard to see, but if I hold it just right,
I kind of saw it when you first held it up. Yeah,
you see the texture there?
Yeah.
So it's grippy, like it's kind of like sandpapery. So it doesn't. Wherever you're playing, you get sweating and stuff, and it doesn't want to just fly out of your hand. Now, the one thing I have done a lot is I'll be playing and then I'll point to somebody or point to something, and the thing will stick to the inside of my or the outside of my index finger, and I'll go flick, and it'll go 20 feet out in the audience, and then I'll be like, yeah, I meant to do that, but I totally didn't mean to do it.
But actually, can I have that back? Because I got to
have that back because they're kind of expensive.
Got to play another hour still.
But these picks are fantastic. They're like a combination between a standard size pick and a jazz style pick, which jazzes are kind of this shape.
Okay.
Put in front of my face.
Yeah.
Where they've got the high edge corners on the top and then the pointy end at the bottom. A standard pick doesn't look quite like that. It looks more like everything's kind of round.
Yeah.
And, standard. But this is the size of a standard pick, but it has the shape of a jazz pick. So you can get the real nice plinky sounds and sharp attack sounds. And it's quick. It's quicker.
Yeah.
Since 2 years ago when I had to buy picks whenever we were actually playing music, for a living.
Right.
I was buying them for like $20 a pop. Now, Sweetwater, unfortunately, does not have them in packs of like 107 because you can usually buy these things in much larger packs. But I highly suggest you get a pack of 6 or a pack of 24. It really doesn't cost very much. try them out if you're a guitar player. I'm pretty sure you will love them. And they have a bunch of different gauges. So 7.73 millimeters, the lightest, which is more like a medium heavy, up to 2 millimeter, which is for like people like God that play guitar that need to, they're playing on electrical cables and stuff. But
for using really heavy gauge strings.
Yeah, so that's my first gear thing.
Okay.
Second one for you, Mr. Iceman.
I mean, it's weird. Like I don't think I'm gonna say any other actual
hardware, like physical hardware, or
yeah. I mean, I think the way to think about this is like I was just thinking about this while you were talking. Like, if you had to do a fly date, and you could like. What are the 4 or 5 essential things that you're going to bring with you? Like, cause I know that I can show up and like, as long as the house gets decent,
yeah,
I can get a good sound out of it. Right. But there are certain things like you were saying with guitar picks, drumsticks. It's like, that's our direct connection to the instrument. Right.
Yeah.
So if that feels weird, no matter how good stuff sounds, you're not going to play well because you're going to be uncomfortable the whole night.
Yeah. That's right. Yep.
So sticks would definitely be the first thing. I think the second thing would be, depending on the whatever gig I'm doing, but let's just say in general, would be my old ass iPad 4 that I bought off Ramiro. Thank you, Ramiro. Because it just. Well, there's like 3 or 4 different apps that I run on it that have just made life so much easier. And the first one would be Fourscore, which is a chart app.
That's what I was going to ask, if you had a charting app on there.
Dude, and like I haven't used it to actually make a chart, but like you can upload a bunch of like different PDFs and whatever. So I used to go around, especially when I was getting back into playing Broadway with people, and I was like, oh, there's like a whole bunch of songs on their song list that I don't know because I haven't done this in a few years or whatever. Mm-hmm. I still have it somewhere. Maybe it's still in my cymbal bag, but I have a big ass like physical binder with hundreds of like quick drum charts, not necessarily Nashville number system charts, but just charts that I can read of all these different songs, Yep. Because it's like, if you get a gig, you get called to go play with somebody on a Wednesday and you got to play with them on Friday, and it's like, oh, I only know 5 songs on their list. I guess I better start charting, And that's fine. But the problem with that is it would take so long to, like, even if you put them in alphabetical order, like I'm flipping pages to get to the song, and we're already in the first verse, and I'm trying to play one-handed.
And you're like, what? Yeah. Somebody looks back and is like, what's this guy from the 90s?
Oh, Reed used to always give me crap. He'd call it, iPad 0.0 over here. Or like Downtown Band is another perfect example. Like I have a whole binder of just those charts that I printed off from their Dropbox. They have like a big, hub thing where they got all their charts and everything. And when I first started playing with Downtown Band, I didn't have the iPad. So I made physical copies of all these charts, print them off, put them in a binder. And every time we'd have another gig and the set list would be different, I have to open up, reorder the set list. So now with Fourscore, I have most of my charts, not all of them, but most of them are uploaded into there, either for like playing with Kelsey or playing with Downtown Band. And it's so easy to just make a set list, like to reorder stuff. And, it's right there. You can see it, like it's backlit, obviously. So you're not trying to you don't have to squint when the stage lights are dark to see, or carry around a dorky gooseneck LED light with you or whatever.
Right.
It's just right there. I can see it. It's easy to go to the next one. It's really easy to search for a song.
That's what I was going to ask, if it has search mode.
It's got search mode. And the other cool thing, I haven't done this yet, but I'm thinking about it. Like, it doesn't matter for Downtown Band because I don't run the tracks with the click. But for somebody like Kelsey, where I'm playing most of her stuff to a click anyway, it has a built-in metronome feature. And in the set list...
can you assign it to each?
Like, if you make a set list and then go through... You tap the metronome in the corner and set it to a tempo. And as long as you have it set to an audible click, because you can also do like a visual thing or whatever. If you have it set to an audible click and you do that for every song, when you tap the right side of the screen to go to the next chart, then the metronome automatically changes to whatever the tempo of that song is. So I've thought about, man, I wouldn't have to take a separate click rig with me at all for Broadway gigs if I do that, because I could run it out of there.
Yeah, you could.
And like the songs that I don't need charts for, but that we do to a click, I can just use the Tempo app on my iPad, which is another app that I love, Lonnie. But yeah, it's super cool. So it just, as soon as you go to the next song, it's like the click just adjusts, and I go to the next one, and then it's like, dude, it's so slick.
That's great.
It's a cool app. So I like that. I like the Tempo app, which is just a metronome app for your iPhone or your iPad, but it's great. And then the other thing that I use the iPad for here at home is like when I'm recording, obviously I've got my little control room set up on this side of the room, but when I'm over here at the drums, like, you don't want to have to do the whole thing of, okay, I'm going to pull up Logic or I'm going to pull up Studio One and, okay, now I hit record and then I got to run over to the drums. Like, I don't want to do that. But both of those DAWs have remotes that you can put on your iPad and then control the session from your iPad via Bluetooth. So I can sit over at the drums, hit record, hit stop, go back, punch, whatever, while I'm just sitting there, and I don't have to walk back and forth to the computer. And man, that's such a game changer. So handy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that I'm sure Pro Tools has something like that, and whatever DAW you use, I bet most of them don't
have a
remote.
native, but there's a third party that made something that works with Pro Tools. Okay. Pro Tools is a little bit behind the game. But
man, so that's been which I was so late in the game to getting an iPad, it's been, and it's so much easier, than carrying like a big binder full of paper charts. Like, it's just this little thing, and you stick it in your stick bag and you go to work. So that would be my second one. What's your second one?
My second one, we're back to, okay, so this is not quite something that would be everyday carry. Yeah. That's why I would consider what you're talking about everyday carry.
Sure.
This is not considered an everyday carry.
I wouldn't take the iPad like on a David gig, but I don't need charts for that gig.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know the gig.
I know what you're saying.
But I'll do two. This one is an everyday carry, and it's vital to a guitar player. And if you have an improper pair of these, it becomes very annoying very quickly. Pair of fingernail trimmers, right? So some fingernail clippers, and not shit ones, like some good quality, spend some money on some nice ones because they're nice and sharp and they don't leave like these little edges. Yeah. And when you're playing, guitar players know what I'm talking about. That's
you want to hear a funny story about those?
Yeah, I do.
I have thought many times about carrying nail clippers in my stick bag, because I cannot tell you the number of times I've been on a gig with Korn and he's like, anybody got any nail clippers?
It's always guitar players and bass players, man.
It happens. He probably asks that more often than not when we play together. And it's like, if this happens all the time, why don't you just carry some? But then I was like, I'm just going to throw some in my stick bag. I'll never need them, but he will. And considering like 70% of the gigs I do are with him, like,
yeah, right. And it's not that we have talons. It's just
I get it. I get it.
A millimeter.
Sure.
Man, the things are hitting frets.
Dude, and I don't even like to, I keep my nails pretty short, because if they get long enough, like, and you're gripping a drumstick, it starts to fatigue me in here, like in my palm,
Yeah. Right.
I hate it. Out. Yeah.
So, okay. So that's a quick everyday carry. Yeah. Right. Second thing, this one. And this is another one of those elephant bite you versus mosquitoes bite you, right?
Okay.
Major pet peeve of mine. Major. And I'm sure you will have something to say about this as well. Freaking microphone stands. Freaking microphone stands. A
good microphone stand. Let's qualify it.
Yes, I cannot stand a cheap microphone stand. And I'm talking cheap as in like if you paid $100 just for a straight stand, no clips, no booms, that's an okay mic stand.
Yeah.
That's a decent mic stand.
Yeah.
But if you paid $45 for a telescoping boom that goes 25 inches and the mic stand goes, that is a piece of shit. I'm sorry,
dude,
but it's a POS.
The worst ones are the
on stage.
Yeah, because you can, like, is it Guitar Center or something? Maybe everywhere they have that like six pack for like
with
50,
a case
for like $50.
Yeah,
and they're like they're really lightweight tubing. They're not weighted. Yeah, the boom moves, but it doesn't telescope. Dude. Right, and like. All it takes is one time of actually trying to get the boom tight or the joint tight, and then all of a sudden it just doesn't ever work again. I actually one of the mic stand on my hi-hat is one of those, and I had to just wrap it in gaff tape because I couldn't tighten it or lower it anymore.
So it's fixed.
I mean, yeah.
It's fixed. It's a fixed mic stand. I fixed it, and it's fixed.
You know what? I switched that microphone stand out. I'm not using it anymore, so never mind.
Good.
Yeah, it's probably.
I guess it's a Tama over there.
No, I'm using those actually in other places, but yeah. Oh no, it's over there. I see it. Boy, it needs to go in the garbage.
It needs to be a special space for that, new case, a garbage can.
Yeah.
So,
but yes, I'm with you.
There's two stands that only meet my criteria. And there used to be 3, but let me tell you, I wasn't going to mention their company name because I despise them. I didn't even want to let anyone know who I'm talking about because I don't like them so much.
Then don't.
No, because they need to know not to buy this stuff.
Oh, okay. Even though it's good, but you don't like the company.
No.
Oh, it's not good.
Oh, okay. It's not good stuff.
Okay.
It's not good stuff anymore. Ultimate Gear, it's trash.
Is it really?
It is trash. The company's trash. Their gear is trash. Don't buy their stuff. They have been having massive supply issues with their microphone stands a year or 2 before COVID even happened.
Huh.
Like that company sucks. So I bought $1,800 worth of mic stands off this company, right?
Okay. Is this
through Sweetwater?
Okay. Is this back when you were with Higbee?
Correct.
Okay.
And nearly over the course of 6 months, right? No time. Nearly every single boom failed.
Oh,
and
geez.
I saw them at GearFest, and I made a scene in their tent because I was disgusted with the boom. And I said, that has got to be some of the worst engineering I've ever seen. So you know how a telescoping boom works? It has a little metal screw that when you tighten it, it pinches the inner tube to keep it from sliding.
Yep.
Well, let's make that all out of plastic, everybody. Let's do that. Let's redo that and make every part of it plastic. The screw's plastic, the thread's plastic, the sleeve is plastic. Oh, but no, hold on. Keep the tubing metal. Let's do that. So the thing, even when it was tight, had just stupid amount of slop at the top. So slop at the top. So like if you had it on like a handheld mic and it was on, and you put, because singers, they touch the mic.
Yeah.
It's proximity, right? So you touch the microphone, that freaking thing would float a half an inch in any direction. A half an inch. Yeah. Now, I know it sounds super, but if you're up there and you're trying to perform and you're chasing your freaking microphone around.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's terrible. It makes for a rough night because you're not sure if the thing's going to fall or if it's going to like slowly start going in.
Right.
And you're going to just keep working your way down, So I told him, I said, in their tent, I said, this thing's absolute garbage. you need to replace. And this is what the dude says to me. The regional overseer guy on this side of the Mississippi.
Okay.
He says, we know it's a problem. We know it's a flaw, but we're building a brand new boom that's going to replace it. I'm like, okay. So I box all my booms up, send them back to you, and you send me the new ones. Well, nah, you're going to have to buy the new ones. I said, bullshit. Yeah. You just said you knew it was a problem.
Right.
He says, well, we might come up with some kind of buyback thing where we give you some money towards the new. And I was like, that's absolute asinine. I mean, if you guys have a bad product, you should just make it right. And so that went nowhere. But then they did release a better boom, and I bought one because I was just like, I'm going to buy one and see how it goes.
Yeah. And
it was a much better, well-engineered boom. So I call up Dave, and I'm talking to the rep there, the Ultimate Gear rep, and they're not going to do dick. They're not going to do anything. They don't give a shit, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of lay it heavy on Dave, and Dave talks to one of his guys, and you know what? Sweetwater took care of it. Sweetwater,
yeah,
took care of it.
Right.
They did the exchange. Now, it did cost me a little bit of extra, but Ultimate Gear was willing to do nothing. Yeah. So Sweetwater took back all the Ultimate Gear the booms. I got the new booms, and guess what? 6 months later, they failed. But they failed in a different spot. Still plastic, like down by where the thing goes up and down.
Yeah.
So, don't buy
Ultimate Gear.
Yeah. So the two stands. The first one I'm going to mention is Tama. Tama make drums. Tama. How do you want to say it? Tama. You were Tama and Dorsey for like a while.
Oh gosh, for like a second. Yeah.
Yep. So Tama make microphone stands, and I believe they make it out of some of the same gauge steel that they make some of their drum hardware out of, because the stands are pretty substantial.
Yeah.
They feel really good. The clutches in them are really, really well done. Everything on them is freaking metal. Everything. Yeah. Everything that matters.
There's some cool design things that I wish other microphone stands would have. Like, the like where a boom goes on a straight stand, or like where the clip goes onto a mic stand, and you've always got that like counter nut so you can tighten it up.
Tiny little thing that's got some knurling on it.
Yeah. These actually are like, they have like it's like a big knob with like a thing on it. So it's really easy to like move it where you want it.
Yeah. And then get your thumb and really put some pressure on there and get it tight.
Yeah. It's great. And that's
one of the biggest pet peeves with stands. You can't get the freaking things tight and they start spinning and moving.
And I have told our monitor and front of house guys over the years numerous times, because this would happen all the time. Get 2 songs or 3 songs into a set, like with David, and I'm looking at the snare mic and it's like pointed at the hi-hat, or it's pointed at the rack tom.
It's the vibrations, it's turning,
and I cannot stand. I mean, part of it is like, you're just putting it on too fast and you're not actually tightening it up.
Sure,
but like I can't stand that. Like, take the extra 10 seconds to make sure that it's tight.
Yep.
But it's not always user error. It's just the fact that like sometimes they're just not great and it comes loose, and it's so annoying.
Right.
Nothing drives me nuts more than that, because it's like, well, now, I notice it halfway through a song and it's like, oh, cool. No wonder I can't hear the snare. And it's probably all hi-hat out in the house. And it's I got to fix this while I'm trying to like put on a show for people. Like, I'm just supposed to worry about playing drums in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And either because you didn't do your job, or more likely it's just a piece of crap that we're working with.
Yeah, the
now I got to like fix it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, super
I
annoying.
hate that. I hate that. It drives me crazy.
Yep.
All right, so that's your 2, though.
Okay, so
Thomas, sorry. And then what's the other one?
Thomas first.
Yeah.
The other one, I can't say enough good things about it. You have some of this.
Oh yeah, I don't even count them. They're in a whole other category.
They're on a different level.
Yeah,
they're on a totally different level, and this is what I would consider exuberant or excessive,
exorbitant. Yeah.
Thank you. That's the word. Yeah, Orbit Triad. They are the Tinker Toys for musicians. Like, they have just an unbelievable catalog of pieces that you can basically build anything you could imagine a stand to be or do.
Yeah. Which is like so dumb to nerd out about a mic stand, but they are pretty freaking cool. Like
they're amazing. Like the one thing that you've got right there, you've got two infinite ball adjustments on both ends of that boom.
Yep. Here.
Yep. Yeah, look at that.
I mean,
completely articulates that way.
And then here.
Yep.
Which no one can see that, I don't think, but
no, but
it goes wherever I want it. Yeah, it's pretty slick.
And then it's quick connect, everything.
Oh, I forgot. Is it quick connect?
Everything's quick connect.
Oh, that's right. It is. Yeah,
you can push down
that's
on the
right.
clutch.
I was thinking up here. Yeah, right here. Yeah. Yeah, that's super cool.
It all comes apart. Very heavy, robust. You know it's not going to break. Everything that matters as far as tension is concerned is metal to metal.
Yeah, there's not any plastic on this,
I don't think there's any plastic on. I've not had any plastic. The only thing I noticed that was plasticky, rubbery, were the feet on the stand, on the legs on the bottom.
The only thing that's not metal on this stand are the rubber grips on the jaw where it's clamped to my desk.
And that's the other thing, like the jaw. Like you can get that jaw. It has the quick connect that can connect to the boom that your arm is connected to, or it can connect a straight stand to it. They have guitar hangers.
Oh, that's pretty slick.
That connect and they have wall mounts, desk mounts, and you can just, however you want to do it. Stuff that they make incredible. It's very expensive. I'm not saying. But
they are really expensive. But
as far as anything I do here in this space with my stuff, Triad is the only thing I use. I have a couple Tama stands, just bottoms though.
Yeah.
That I use that work great because they're still substantially heavy. But like this light rig that I have this boom sitting over here, probably 2 feet away from me, and this boom that comes out and over my head and holding a light above my head, and then I have another light right here. That it's same stand, attached to the same stand.
Yeah.
It's such a great system. So stands. I can't say enough things about stands. I have such a like I said, a pet peeve about stands. Shit stands. I can't stand them.
Yeah,
can't stand them.
I hate it. That's annoying. I mean, I feel as strongly about that as I do about like crappy cymbal stands, like just crappy drum hardware. It's the worst.
Well, same thing, right? So, like, this is the thing. I have guys that will buy a freaking $1,000 microphone, like a wireless, and they'll put it on a fucking $50 mic stand.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you thinking? You've got it on a $50. Yeah, and then you buy a cymbal that's what, $300-$400.
Yeah, I don't want to put it on a $35 cymbal stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying go put it on an $800 cymbal stand.
Well, no, but you can get really good cymbal stands for like $80-$85. Like Yamaha single brace cymbal stands. Oh. Some of the best stuff you can buy. Like that's one thing I'll say is a lot of the kits down on Broadway, which I'm not trying to not be thankful. I'm very happy that I don't have to take my entire drum set every time I go play Broadway. It's awesome to have house kits. But most of them are Mapex. And dude, Mapex's hardware is awful. It's like stupid designs. So not only are they engineered poorly, but then they just don't last. Like those kits are getting a beating 12 hours a day. That hardware cannot take it.
Yeah, right.
But yeah. So all right, this is my sorry.
Yeah, what's yours?
This is my third and probably my last one. I'm really thinking about like essential things that I can't live without. And it's not going to be a particular drum or cymbal because this hit me. I was listening back a couple episodes ago, and I kind of forget what we were talking about, but I was thinking about like, or maybe it was just a conversation you and I had on the phone. Maybe it wasn't a podcast episode. We were talking about drummers or just musicians in general getting so caught up in like the gear they play and like, I want to sound like so and so or I really love this sound and so I'm going to play this or whatever. And honestly, as long as I have the drumsticks I want to play, and the other thing, this is not what I'm going to say, but the other thing that I will fly with on a fly date with David is a pedal. Most of the time, backline guys, they have a pedal there that I can play, but you just never know. And so that's the other direct connection to the instrument is my pedal. So if I can take something that I know I'm comfortable with, then I'm going to take it. And it's, I throw it in a pedal case. It's not like it takes up any extra room in my suitcase, but I never fly like on a full band gig. If it's backline, I never take a snare drum. I never take cymbals, partly because I don't want the airlines to break them or lose them. And I'm sorry, but their track record is not great.
Right.
But also I don't really want to have to worry about that. And I have enough confidence in my ability to make a drum kit sound good that I don't need to have my snare drum or my cymbals with me. Mm-hmm. My point of all this is that if you're a good developed musician, your sound goes with you wherever you go. It has way less to do with the gear you play, but it has to do everything with how you play the gear you are given.
Yeah.
I know what it was. We were talking on the phone just yesterday, maybe, it was just yesterday when I was walking Lloyd. And we were talking about a particular drummer that plays with a particular artist up there that you have played with before. And you guys were doing something where you had to be on and off quick. And he was like trying to adjust the drums. And he was taking up time from the set. Taking up time from the show. He was, I got to get these just right. And it made me, and I didn't say this on the phone because we just ran out of time or I forgot about it, but it made me think about like two different things. One, Jimmy Paxton Sr., who's a guy I studied with at UArts, no longer with us, but his son, Jimmy Paxton Jr., is a badass drummer. But Jimmy Paxton Sr. was a rough, hard-edged dude, but he taught me so much. And I remember one of the things he said to me that stuck with me is, you need to be able, you can never become dependent on, I can only play my gear set up the way that I set it up. Because he's like, and he was talking in a jazz context, but he's like, what if you go sit in at a jazz club and then you play 3 or 4 tunes, but it's another drummer's kit. You're not gonna be able to just go up there and start loosening things and moving it. Like that drummer's gonna be pissed. Like, just go up there and play. Like his whole thing was like, it's only 20 minutes of your life. If you can't make music happen without everything being within a millimeter of perfect for you, then you're not a good musician. That was his whole thing, is like, just go in there and play. Like, and so I think about that a lot. And one of the gigs I do, which I haven't done it in a few years, but one of the gigs I do where that comes into play is when you play the Opry, dude, you have like 90 seconds at most to get from side stage to letting the other drummer come off stage. You get up there. All I bring with me is my phone, and I run the tempo app, and they have an 1/8 inch that you can plug in that goes directly to the headphones for the drummer. So it's just me on click. I plug that in. I get the click for the first song going. I grab my sticks and I'm ready to go. I don't touch anything. The only thing I might change is if it's Eddie, who's the house drummer, since he plays open-handed. He's one of the house drummers. Since he plays open-handed, the hi-hats tend to be a little low if you're playing cross-handed. So the one thing I will do is like, I will loosen the clutch and loosen the joint there and raise the hi-hats up just a little bit so I can play normal. But that's it. I'm not moving cymbals. I'm not raising the snare drum. I'm not positioning toms. Like, you have no time. By the time I get all that done and my phone plugged in and grab my sticks, they're introducing David and I'm counting off the first song.
Yeah, because
like, and guess what? It's fine. I play my 3 songs, and when we're done, and everybody loves it. Nobody there goes, man, I bet that set would have been better if the drummer would have had a few more minutes to adjust those toms.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
I guess my whole point of this rant is like, you should be good enough that you can play any setup in a jam. Like, yeah, do I play better if I'm playing my setup? Of course. But it doesn't mean that I sound like I've never played drums before if I'm not playing my setup.
True that.
I can still make music happen.
Yep.
And I think that was Jimmy Paxson Sr.'s whole point is like, everybody plays better on their gear, of course.
Yeah.
But you can't go play someplace and then be like, and like have it be a real shitty night and then be like, I played terrible, but it's because I wasn't playing my gear. It's like, it's still drums and cymbals, isn't it? Well, then you should be able to make music happen.
That's right.
So,
and maybe come in with the perspective of, okay, this isn't how I have my stuff set up, right? So this isn't, I'm not going to be comfortable, right?
yeah.
You're not going to be comfortable.
I think if
That's
you go
okay.
in with that mindset, like
go in with
knowing this is going to be uncomfortable, but I'm going to make the best of it.
And play the essentials.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to, yes, if you're on your kit or my guitar, I'm going to feel more comfortable being able to pull off something that's a bit more intense because everything feels a certain way and I know how fast or how long it takes me to get from point A to point B.
Right.
But on another instrument, the strings are a little further from the frets. Maybe it takes a little longer to push them down, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
You know, it takes longer for this hand to get to the tom because it's 2 inches further.
Yeah. Or like the ride cymbals over here instead of right here or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't do that stupid shit.
Yeah.
Play what is necessary and essential for the song and get the hell off the stage.
Yeah. I mean, the majority of the time, the audience is not going to hear a difference. Whether
never going to know the difference.
If you did the entire set on the house gear and then you came back and played the exact same stuff, but you played on your gear, the audience would be like, "Yeah, I liked it both times. The song sounded the same.
Sounds like the same thing to me."
Yeah, I really love that song. David's awesome. Like they have I always say this, and it makes me sound jaded, but like most of the time, the audience doesn't even know there's a band up there. They're there to see the artist. Like it could literally be David with an iPod with backing tracks. You know, I'm not what they're focusing on. They're focusing on the lyrics and the song and the singer.
Yeah.
I mean, now if I totally suck and now draw attention to myself in a negative way, then yes. But like as long as I'm doing my job, then they're not going to know. So all that to say, my third essential thing, and this will be my last one, and I have been using this on gigs since high school. And if I have one thing that I'm superstitious about, I have many, but if I only had one, it would be this one. Extra polar ice gum.
Oh my gosh.
I have not played a gig without chewing that. Well, I haven't even had a workout really without chewing that workout for like the last 4 years. But I have, cause I remember in junior high and high school, I remember seeing pictures and videos of myself playing drums, and I was so into it and lost that I would always look like I'm catching flies. My mouth would be hanging wide open, and I was totally unconscious of what was happening. So it started out as a way to just counter that. Well, if I have gum in my mouth, I'm going to be chewing it, or I'm at least going to be holding it so my mouth is closed. And then it just became a thing where like, dude, I have literally run. Well, I'll be like backstage and the intro music will start like our walk on, which we have some time. Sure. And I'll realize, shit, I don't have gum in and I don't have any in my pocket. And I have run to the dressing room or run back to the bus and grabbed a piece. I hate it. I do not like, and I don't think my mouth is hanging open anymore, but I'm so like superstitious about it's a part of what I need. It is essential for me to have a good show. And it can't be another flavor, it can't be another brand. Like I chew some other gum, but not when it comes to playing drums.
Well, it's showtime.
It's extra polar ice.
Extra polar ice.
That's what it is.
That's so funny, man.
Yeah,
that's a new one for me. I had no idea.
I always have that in my backpack for fly dates in case I forget to bring some. Like there's like 20 pieces in there at all times.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah, and now with working out and running too, like I chew it a lot for that too. But yeah, like
you know what's funny is yeah. Go ahead.
I remember once, I think Korn was on this gig, and he knows that like I always chew gum. And I remember once, this 3 or 4 years ago, it was a David show, and we were like 3 songs in, and I just had this like weird moment where I kind of like exhaled hard, and like my gum was in the front of my mouth, and it fell out. And Korn saw it, and he was like, "Oh no!" And like, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. But I had such a feeling of panic come over me of like, well, this like. In the back of my mind, the entire show was like, this show's not going well. It's not gonna be good because I'm not chewing gum. And like it's like, dude, that's how how superstitious I am about it.
Wow.
Acoustic show, anything, any gig I do with anybody, I fucking got gum in my mouth. I have to.
That's funny, man.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Holy cow. So, you know what? The last year playing with Higby, you know, I had the opportunity to have a couple of my closest friends. Even you were on one of the gigs. Yeah. And that last year, I don't know if you were on it on the last year, but well,
I don't know when. I did it in March of 2019.
Okay, yes, it would have been.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So it was that coming into that Fair and Festival season.
Yeah.
Through that point, I was like, you know what? There was a couple of engineers in Nashville. Well, only one. There was only one.
There's just one engineer in all of Nashville. Does all the records.
Joseph Logston, everyone. Joseph Logston. Talented dude, like uber talented. Remember he was at that Ocean Way session for Claire.
Oh, was he? Oh, yeah.
That was Joseph.
Okay, yeah. I forgot. I always think that you engineered that session, but you really didn't.
I didn't.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
I play guitar.
You just play guitar. That's right.
I was only memorable as an engineer that I never did, and no one remembered me playing guitar. No. But.
I'm just used to like usually if you're on a project, you're like doing 50 different things, and engineering is one of them. So
yeah, and I hired Joseph because he knows that room really well, and he's really good. But the other thing about Joe, he was just nicest freaking dude ever.
Yeah,
it was like the American Ramiro. You know?
Yeah.
Like, Ramiro is the nicest guy ever, south of the border. I mean,
yeah.
He's a Bolivian Rico Suave. No, I mean, Ramiro's awesome. Joseph is just as super nice dude. Real fun to work with. But the thing I noticed about Joseph is that, now it wasn't that session, I don't think. But I think there was that session that, man, he really wanted to make everyone feel super comfy. Like, I think he asked everybody if they need water.
Yeah.
He was very, like, concerned about. And then, so I did another session with him the very next day, vocal session, in another small studio. Dude went into the kitchen, cut up vegetables, and got ranch, and brought him in, and while we were listening to playback on something, he went and did that quick and came back in, and he had a whole freaking tray of stuff. And I was like, what the hell? He's like, yeah, I just went and cut some stuff up.
And you guys all started eating, and he was like, oh, that was actually just for me.
And so, like, I was like, wow, this is... So that was a major takeaway for me. It's like, you know, that's a whole, like... just he's setting a mood, and
just a nice relaxed atmosphere.
So
I do remember that about that session. Like I don't remember him in particular, but I do remember feeling like that was like a really fun session.
Chill.
We were all just chill. And the other thing I liked about him as far as working with him, I remember he got great drum sounds and we didn't spend like any time on them.
No.
And I mean, it's one thing if, there's actually something that's like really troubling, but I hate taking 20 minutes and I'm beating the snot out of my rack tom. So it's like, dude, it's a rack tom. Like, if you want to take a little bit of time, if you want to take a little bit of time to dial in the kick and the snare, that's fine. But like toms, like if they sound good and they sound like toms and they're appropriate for the music you're doing, move on.
Yeah.
you know, like
right.
I can't handle taking an hour to get drum sounds.
No. And I've usually been pretty good about moving along, but that comes from.
I think I think you're the reason I'm like that is because you never seem to take that long to get drum sounds.
Well, it all comes from sound checking in clubs and animal clubs.
Right.
As soon as
because those animals are making so much noise and you got to get the drum sounds over top of them.
You're bothering the animals.
Yeah. No. Sorry.
As soon as the drummer hits one thing without any sound equipment on, immediate bitching starts. Immediate. Like there's some old drunk woman at the bar, and it's like, all right, Ice, give me a kick.
Turn it down! You're too loud!
It's not even in the house yet.
It's not even in the house yet.
Yeah.
I'm like, everything's muted. I'm like, well, good sound check. Good sound check.
Cool. But those are the same people that are like, oh, I miss live music. It's like you never even appreciated it when you had it. So shut up.
They miss bitching. They miss the bitching.
Yeah, they got to bitch about something.
Anybody yell at? Tell us to turn it down. It's not. Everything's so quiet.
I do remember one time at Silver Dollar, we were sound checking drums, and it probably had only been going on for a couple minutes, and so
the topless dancing.
No, the sound check, and I remember hearing from you couldn't see because it was dark. Someone was like, if you're not going to play a song, then quit making a bunch of noise. And it's like, we're not even scheduled to go on for like another 40 minutes. We can't play a song for you until this is dialed in. Like,
yeah, right.
It's unbelievable.
Oh, they don't get it. They don't understand. So,
yeah. I think I knew where you were going with that, but go ahead.
I started providing gum for everyone in the Higbee outfit once that season started, because who doesn't like some gum, right? But I had I was really like hooked on this particular Icebreakers cinnamon. Like, whew, it's good. Yeah. It's good stuff. And it's funny just having, the containers of that at like Monitor World and around, where it's people, hey guys, I got gum. Yeah. You want to partake? It's going to be here all the time. It's going to be over in the work box all the time. Right. Just grab yourself some. Freaking loved it. I mean, it was, it's a different, it's a little different. It's refreshing, right?
Dude, I mean, is it not? It's so funny. Like, that's a sign of like, oh, I like this person or I don't. Is if it's like, and it happens to me all the time. So usually I try and, if I'm going to put gum in public, I try and do it away from people, because as soon as you whip out the thing and you put a piece, hey man, can I have a piece? Hey man, can I have, it's like, bro, it costs like 20 cents for a pack. Like, just go buy yourself some. I mean, like everybody gets one, but don't ask me again. Like,
Yeah, and that's what happened with me. People were asking me, I was like, yeah, it's not that expensive. Yeah. I'll go spend $10 on gum. Yeah. So I did. I bought $10 of gum.
It makes me sound like a cheapskate, but it's not much.
You are. Yeah.
But it's not, okay, it's not that. If I wasn't superstitious about it, I wouldn't care. But if it's like, okay, well, I have these 4 sticks in my pocket and I'm going to put one in now, but now he wants one. But this is for sound check, and then we're gonna eat dinner. then we're gonna eat dinner.
Oh my god!
Like let's say,
Holy cow,
let's say, if it's like a downtown.
That's not a superstition, Ice. That's called an addiction.
It's not an addiction because I
People
don't
count cigarettes the same way.
That's fair. It's not an addiction though, because I don't need it any other time in my life. It's just a superstitious thing about taking the stage without it. But so let's say it's a downtown band gig, right? And get there, we're setting up, and we're about to sound check. I pop a piece, and then someone else is like, "Hey man, can I have a piece?" Sure. But now I'm like, okay, well I've only got these 2 pieces left, and we're gonna sound check, but then we're gonna have dinner before we play. So I'm gonna spit this piece out and eat, but then I'm gonna need another piece. But then in between the dance sets, we're probably going to get some wedding cake. So I'm going to spit that piece out. So I cannot afford to share the remaining 2 sticks that I have. These are mine.
I'm out of gum.
Don't ask me. That's all I brought with me. And I have allotted just the right amount for the rest of the night.
Now, do they know you're this superstitious about it?
I think Korn knows, but I don't know if anybody else really knows. They just think I'm anal about not sharing gum, but I don't care. Like,
they can think what they want.
This is where I thought you were going, talking about.
Okay.
What was his name? Joseph. I thought you were going to say that like one of the most important things to bring with you is your attitude.
Ooh,
but
so true.
It is true. But okay, I thought of one more. It's not deep like that. But this is something like I always have with me in my stick bag.
Okay, we'll let you have this one, then we got to wrap this segment.
We do, because I want to eat and I got to go pick up my kids.
Okay.
But I think just because, Lloyd's barking at somebody. I don't know anyone else who does this, but another drummer must do it because I picked it up from somebody and I don't remember who.
Okay.
But I always have this in my stick bag. It comes with me on every fly date. I keep a little bit of sandpaper in my stick bag. Mm-hmm. And I know you and I have talked about this, but I was just talking with another drummer, Lonnie, about it. And he was like asking me why. And I swear we've had this conversation before, but maybe not. Maybe I've talked about it with somebody else. Mm-hmm. But the reason is, like on a backline kit, or even when I put fresh heads on my drums, I don't like the way brand new drum heads feel.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I put brand new coated ambassadors on my toms, on my snare drum, whatever. I don't like it the way it feels a little stiff. So what I'll do is I take this little, square of sandpaper and I don't press hard, but I just kind of rub in circles, like probably, like that big of a circle in the center of it for, I don't know, 20 seconds, right? I'm not pushing down on it,
right?
But
you're just scuffing up.
I'm just taking off just a little bit of the coating as if I have like played brushes on it for 3 hours but what I've noticed is it does 2 things. It softens the center of the head a little bit, so it feels a little nicer. It feels like it's already played in without me having to spend hours playing it in. But I've also noticed that the coating lasts a lot longer.
Huh.
It like doesn't chip off as quickly. I don't know the science behind that or anything. That's just an observation I made. But I always carry that because, backline companies, they're always trying to impress you, whatever. So they all, it's very rare that you don't get brand new heads on a drum kit when you show up. But like, I don't have days on end to play that kit, to play those heads to make them feel broken in. So that's been the one thing that I've noticed. I can do this quickly and it gets me pretty close to like feeling like, these heads have been on these drums for 3 or 4 months,
Right.
That's like, that would be my other essential thing.
Cool.
So yeah, that's
that's sort of like what I like. I like to carry around a spray bottle full of salt water, and I just hit my guitar strings with it every once in a while. No, I'm just kidding. I never do.
Oh, I was gonna say, really? Is that a thing? Like,
gets them all rusty, like
I
they've been
used.
used.
That can't be good for.
It's all bad.
I've got this big trough full of salt water. I just dunk all my guitars right in there before we play, plugged in and everything.
So what we did last time the last episode, I like it. Like you have this little music going on right now under us.
Yeah,
it's letting people know that
have we really been going that long? Oh my goodness, I didn't realize. Okay,
and it lets people know. Oh wow, we're approaching the end now. But the other thing I really liked about the last episode is when I turned to you and I talked to you.
Oh yeah, it was nice.
I mean, you're right here. And
I need to watch the end of it because I only listened. I didn't watch the last time.
Oh yeah, you
this
need to watch
latest episode. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Like we, stare into each other's eyes, and I tell you a couple things that were that you wouldn't necessarily know otherwise.
Yeah,
and
I probably don't know. Yeah. Well, what do you got for me today?
Somebody behind you? Oh no, that's just your shadow. Sorry. So, anyway, before I look into your eyes, gaze into your eyes, and tell you some of these facts, I'm going to tell everyone out there real quick.
Oh, okay.
So this was part 1 of our gear, gadgets, and tools favorites of gear, gadget, tools. Part 1. Part 2 will be coming up next week when we talk about gadgets and tools, which. That's
mostly going to be you talking, because
about tools. Yeah, but you got some tools and you got some stuff.
I do, but I'm not good with them, so I don't know what I'm going to. Oh, I really like this hammer.
Well, by the time we go to the next we do the next episode, you may have a new love for potatoes.
That's very true.
Wink, wink.
I'll keep you updated on that.
Hey, don't forget, we are on iTunes.
Yes.
If you're not already listening there, we're on YouTube. .com. We are also on Spotify, Amazon, and Google Podcasts,
right,
and Stitcher, and iHeartRadio.
Yeah, iHeartRadio. You gotta get on that.
Yeah, and don't forget, check out the website, goodsharepodcast.com. You can sign up there and get notified whenever new episodes are dropping. Plus, we're going to be adding things as we go and have time to do that. But it seems like the summer's coming, and we're probably both going to be kind of busy through the summer a little bit, but we're still going to do what we can with the episodes because we like doing it. I think that covers what I wanted to talk about with that stuff. So,
all right, so hit me with a fun fact that I don't know.
Yeah. So, did you know?
I didn't.
That Abraham Lincoln's dog Fido was also assassinated.
Wait, is that for real?
Yeah, it's for real.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Good share.
So I got another one in case that one didn't hit home.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why it would hit home, but... I mean, has your dog been assassinated?
Yeah, my dog was assassinated too, so there we go.
Yeah.
All right,
so
what you got?
You're not alone.
What you got?
Did you know that...
I'm just going to keep doing it.
I know you are. Did you know
I did
that an armadillo's shell is also bulletproof?
Good share.
Hey, thanks for listening or watching the Good Share podcast. Hey, Ice, tell them what they can do.
Well, if you're enjoying the show, please take a minute and like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review. And don't forget to ring that bell so you never miss an episode.
That's right. And if you want to know more, go to the Good Share Podcast.com.
Say hi, Tim.
Hi, Tim!